Native Logan, ready to get rolling. Check your dick, wanna know what you're holding. I refuse to lose, give me them cues. I'm ready to snap, tell me what you wanna do. Come on, let's go toe to toe. Marvel at my strength, I'm ready to win, yo. Give me the mic, I'm finna rap about it. Don't matter about it, chatter about it. Let's snap. Snap, 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 snap. I'm gonna snap, 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 snap.
Hello and welcome to Snap Chatter, a weekly Marvel Snap podcast. I am one of your hosts, Logan.
And I'm the other one, Nate.
Nate, I came to a stark realization the other day. You know, we both do other podcasts besides this one, and I realized I start both podcasts the exact same way. I introduce myself, the co-hosts introduce themselves, and then I start off with like saying the co-host's name. And it, like now I have a complex about it, and I can't get it out of my head, man. That's all I think about.
Like, listen, if it ain't broke, don't worry about fixing it. But like, I mean,
true.
Also, like, if you want to change it up, man, like it's our podcast, dude. I mean, just
that's true.
Do what makes you happy here. As long as like it's not like, you know, seriously egregious or gross. Like, don't play leech. Don't do that. Oh
yeah, you dirty leech players. Yeah, no, not a fan of that. Just y'all don't look at my Thanos deck where I've been turned for leeching people a little bit recently. You know, I gotta say, dude. I guess I should update the listeners. I did not reach infinite last season. I hit 99, and then I hit 99.6 or 8. And the game was like, you're winning too much. We don't like that. And it slapped me back down to 97. I was like, okay, I'm done.
Like, I'm good.
I don't care.
I'm good.
You guys have sucked the soul out of me.
I was kind of interested how that would all sort of like pan out for you, man. Because like the way that I've looked at sort of chasing infinite has basically been like, if I can make it work, cool. But I am not throwing myself into that grinder. Like I'm just not doing it. I would my goal was actually, I wanted to hit 90, like, and I was like at 88, 89 a couple of times. Cause like at 90 is the last, like, so the unique deck back of the card thing is like, whatever. Like fart noises at that. Like, don't get me wrong. It would have been like cool, like sure, but like I was more interested.
That gold X-Men, the gold X-Men back was pretty dope.
Yeah, it was cool, but like my thing was like I really like the. I wanted that like 500 gold or whatever it is that you get at rank 90, and it was like I got to like 88, 89 a couple of times, and then it was like pretty much just like you get swatted back, and I was like, this sucks. Yeah. Like, nah.
Yep. It's like I said in the last 2 episodes, never doing it again. If it just tends to happen organically, cool, I'll take it. Yeah. But I'm not going to gun for it like I did last season. Cause I was burnt. I thought I was going to go into this new season and just be like
done,
totally burnt out, not like, playing the game anymore.
Yep. Well, and I think, like I said, it is like, it's just a bit of a meat grinder, man. Like, and I think we've talked about it before, right? But it is like, it's the Mario Kart effect. Like, dude, like, and this is not to cast aspersion, but I saw like people were winning with decks, and I'm like, they're like, I just got infinite with this, and I'm like, what? Like, how? And
those are all pull 1 cards. How?
Well, and it's like you can make an infinite deck that plays that way, but it's like, dude, it's like for me, like once I got into the 80s, if I pretty much played anything but my Shuri Skull deck, I wasn't winning, or like I wasn't. It was just, I don't know. Like my Dark Hawk decks did all right, but it was like it was just
it was nasty, man. It was gnarly. It was definitely gnarly. I'm never doing it again. I will say this though, the matchmaking in this game is incredibly suspicious. There was several times I would be playing a deck and kind of go on a losing streak and be like, okay, let me swap to another deck, change it up a little bit, see how it goes. That next match, after I swap decks, I would either get paired with someone with the same exact deck, maybe 2 card variants, or a hard counter deck. And I'm just like,
that's suspicious.
That feels bad. Yeah. Like, no, dude, So I was, for a while, I was doing some climbing, and this is last season. And again, like, you know, I know we're sort of like rabbit trailing here. I was doing some climbing, and I had seen like a lot of success with a lockjaw, a thunderjaw deck, right? Like it was the one with M'Baku. And I was like, I had seen some success with it, and I was like, this is fun. Okay, like, you know, and I sort of wrote it out, and I had like some 8-cube, and I had like a nice streak going. And it just started like the RNG got like gross on me. And I was like, okay, like it's time to like just sort of shift gears, change it up. The next game, like, and it was like, you know, 2 or 3 games where I just like tanked. I was like, okay, like I'm going to change it up. It's like, it doesn't want me to play this right now. The next game, somebody gets like, they're playing like a Thunderjaw deck and just mops the like perfect draws. And I was like,
wait a minute. You're like Austin Powers in that moment. We're like, they stole my mojo.
Yeah, pretty much.
For any of the 90s kids out there.
Yeah, no, it was like it, but I was like, yeah, there is something about that. It's just like weird. It's like, where it's like,
it's very weird.
Like all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've been playing this, and it's like, it's kind of like not doing great. Like I swapped out from I was doing a Sandman deck for a while, and like I was seeing and I was playing that, and it was like not doing great. And like I shift gears. Next game I play Sandman, and they spank me. Like they just, and I'm like, for real? Like
it's weird, dude.
But I mean,
just saying, second dinner, we're on to you.
Like
you got a buggy algorithm.
I think they just hate me. I think like they're
that too. I mean,
they're mad because
Iceman always hits the cards that you need, and then Scorpion hits you a couple times. This game hates you, man.
Yeah, and it's like, in spite of it, I keep playing it. Like talking about like some serious self-loathing or something going on here.
It's just the cards are too pretty, man. It's hard to get away from them.
No, it's just it's one of those things where I'm just like, man, like it's not personal, but like I'm pretty sure I just made somebody mad over there, and they're just like, no. Every time you can just like give him like garbage hands, do it, and the game's like, game's just doing what it does.
You probably made Ben Brode mad somewhere at some point in time in the past, and you just don't even know it.
And when I told him that, you know, the Iceman Scorpion when I tweeted out the Iceman Scorpion combo is like stupid and it's low hanging fruit, he was like, "How dare you?" And he just,
that's right. You know what? We're gonna ramp up our algorithm, so that's all you get now.
That's all I get. It's like I have to be careful about what I tweet out. If I tweet out that Leech sucks, like I'm just gonna play games, and like people will just like Leech will magically show up on the board for them. Just like
Leech will start showing up on turn 3 for you, just out of nowhere.
Just like the other person will be like, "What just happened?" And I'm like, "I don't know. The game hates me."
That reminds me, because the hot location at the time of we're recording here, which is April 5th, is the Xavier Mansion that gives you a random card. Have you gotten leeched on turn 3
with him? With that, probably, dude. And I'll tell you what, that mansion is. I've got fodder for next episode, man. Because when we talk about that
works,
stuff,
man.
Because like that mansion is busted. Like, and when it's busted in your favor, it's awesome. And when it's busted in the other person's favor, it's like,
it's not awesome.
It's suckfest.
Yep. I watched someone earlier today, and Xavier Mansion popped off, and this was after someone they played Baron Mordo there, and then Xavier Mansion just popped Hobgoblin on their side, and it came over to his side, and the other person played a Green Goblin, and he was like, "I'm out." Like, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. It is nuts. But yeah, that's a pretty good preview for episode 10, which will come out next week. Listeners, we're going to be talking about our favorite and least favorite locations in Marvel Snap. But this episode, we're going to talk about Hitmonkey, man. And this is going to be a fun conversation. We're talking a little bit about Hitmonkey in the pre-show. And I might be a little bit more giddy about Hitmonkey than Nate maybe, or maybe equally hype. I don't know.
I think you're a little more up on him. Like I think you're a little more up on him than I am. I like him. I think, and what I told you is like the problem is I haven't really like had that moment with him where I'm like, oh no, like yes, this is exactly what I want from you. So
you haven't had yes, very nice.
Yes,
with him.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't had the yes, very nice moment yet.
Right on, man. But yeah, so listeners, first of all, before we go any further, you let us know if you have gotten this season pass and if you've played around with Hitmonkey, what do you think of them? And what do you think of the season pass overall in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter or wherever you're listening to this here. But this episode, yeah, we're going to talk about Hitmonkey, some of our favorite decks with him, kind of our experience with Hitmonkey, and just kind of go over the season pass as a whole and kind of cover the little conundrum with, I guess, one of the mystery variants was missing at a certain rank, and now Second Dinner is giving everybody a free mystery variant. We'll get to that in a little bit later on. Of course, we've got a favorite card highlight coming up as well. But let's get into it, man. You know, Animals Assemble season. The card is Hitmonkey. We've got a lot of, maybe not a lot, but we've gotten at least two different variants for Goose and Cosmo that I have to admit are just adorable.
Dude, those variants are top shelf. Like,
so good.
So cute. Like, I mean, Goose and Cosmo are fun cards in general. They're usually pretty, like, I play them a good bit. So yeah, getting those variants is going to be like cool, super fun. Like,
and I think it's like kind of the perfect timing too, because it seems like a lot of people, at least from what I'm noticing, a lot of people have Goose in their decks. A lot of people have Cosmo in their decks to kind of counter, you know, those Shuri decks, to kind of control some lanes, control, you know, whether or not Shuri gets to pop off or not, or if Taskmaster gets to pop off or not. And so it's kind of good timing. I feel like this is going to be one that, you know, last season we got, you know, Sentinel, we got Wolverine, and those are cards that I think people were definitely using, but not as many as what I think in regards to Goose and Cosmo being as prevalent as it is now. So I think this is one where a lot more people are going to be using those cards and using those variants, and definitely having a good time with them. And I mean, just even if you don't use it, my goodness, the art is insanely good. You guys will see those on the screen. I'll have those up for you. They're just gorgeous. You get avatar versions of those, and man, it's really good.
I mean, and really they've got really great base cards. They've already got some great variants, but like these ones just sort of like ramp up, like, again, the cute to like 11. And I'm like, cool. So like, I'm there for it. Yeah.
Yeah. But let's zero in on Hitmonkey, the card that I feel like there's been hype building for this card for at least 2 months, ever since it got data mined, and we've seen it and we've seen its ability, and we're like, oh my gosh, this sounds really cool. This is going to be just a lot of fun. And for those who maybe aren't aware, again, this will be up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. Hitmonkey's on reveal ability is gain +2 power for each other card you played this turn. He's a 2-cost, 0 power card. Nate, let's just talk about it, man. What do you think about Hitmonkey? I'll say this. I don't think he's OP, but I do think he's a really great card in comparison to, I guess, Nimrod, in my opinion.
I was doing some reading around, and I was actually surprised that I remember reading an article where somebody was like, they felt like Nimrod had a bigger impact on the meta. And I kind of like, I'm like, yes and no. Like, Nimrod is almost a staple in a lot of your Galactus builds. But Nimrod is also like a card that, for the most part, doesn't, I think, have a lot of like great homes. Whereas I feel like Hitmonkey's going to be best in like your bounce decks, in sort of like your Sarah decks, where like, because you know, that ability +2 for every card played that turn before, you know, it's like he's gonna get, like, he can get kind of chunky, like, so. And I mean, and there's already been some neat tricks. Like we've somebody in the Discord posted about like basically hiding him behind invisible woman right off the bat. And then that last turn, he just, whatever you play that last turn, he's like, well, it got played that turn. He reveals and boop, you get a big gnarly Hitmonkey. Yeah, I don't think he's OP. I think he's really an interesting card. I also don't think he like shakes up stuff as much. I think like he's just a really great addition to decks that are already there. This is a card that doesn't shake up the meta really, but like they're finding like interesting places to slot them. So Yeah. I like
Right
them.
on.
I like them a lot. I personally haven't had like a tremendous amount of success with them. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm right there with you. I definitely don't think he's OP, but man, he's just fun. And I don't know if this is because I'm like coming into this season just not caring about my rank and just being more laid back, and if that's adding to it or not. But I don't know, man. We'll talk about the decks that we've used him in here in a little bit. And you mentioned one of them being a bounce deck. And man, that first night I was like, dude, I'm going to slot him into just a Sarah deck and just see how these turn 6 shake up. And man, I've gotten him up to like I think a 212, 213 was the highest when I blew up Nova and got him up to that level. But there's been I've seen several people post that they've gotten him up to like a 218, a 220, I think like a 222 at one point. I don't know how they were doing that. Maybe Wong was involved, and but man, it was wild to see what some of these numbers are for Hitmonkey.
Yeah, I think like the one play that I saw where they got him up like into the 20s, it was basically, it looked like a modified. He was played on Wong. I think it was a Wong Mystique combo.
Okay,
but it was also, it looked like it had been a bounce deck. So they were dropping they dropped a whole bunch of like 1 and 0 costs from like Beast and junk like that. So it's like they flooded the board last turn, and then they dropped them on the Wong Mystique board, and he got super gnarly big. I mean, those are gonna be your outliers. That's like when the play happens, it's like, oh, that's really silly, that's really fun, let's go. But for the most part, like you're probably, I mean, what I found is that realistically, like a 2-8, 2-10, most of the time, that last turn sort of like stuff. But yeah, I mean, he's a solid card. Like even at like, and what's interesting too is like we talked about the power scaling, like, and especially if you're playing him in a deck with Nova in there and you nuke Nova with Killmonger or something like that, like he could, like, he's very easily at 2-4, 2-5. He's very easily at 2-6, 2-7, and again, that requires like the Nova combo, but like, and it's like, it's not that hard to get him into a 2-8, 2-10 territory either. Like, so he's
definitely a great addition. I'll probably say that he's probably my favorite season pass card after Zabu. Just because Surfer, I didn't really use a whole lot at the time. I just feel like I probably didn't really just take advantage of him when he dropped. Nimrod was okay, and I'm sure I'm forgetting another one that came somewhere before that. But yeah, he's a great time. So we've talked about bounce decks, right? And I definitely use them in a Sarah deck. I'll definitely post some of these decks on the YouTube video so you guys can take a look at those cards and kind of see how they work. I'm looking at it right now on the app here, and I'll just talk about the one I was using. Of course, it includes Bast, who is a Series 4 card, although I think Bast may be dropping to Series 3 this month. Don't quote me on that, but that's definitely got to have that because Bast will boost a lot of cards in your hand. Not a lot, all of them to a 3 power. So that helps out. And those cards just giving more power. So you got Nova, Angela, Hitmonkey, Scarlet Witch, Sentinel, Mysterio, Bishop, Wolfsbane, who is getting some breath of fresh air in a lot of my decks. I haven't used Wolfsbane since the start of the game. Killmonger, of course, Shang-Chi, Sarah. Fun fact, I didn't know this until I started playing this deck. If you bossed your Mysterio, it makes the illusions 3 power. And I'm like, this is like a mini Doctor Doom. This is great. This is so cool. I like that. And it's kind of takes people off guard because it's like, how do you deal with this? There's 3 extra power now in the lanes, a total of 9 power on the board. It's like, oh my gosh, this makes it even harder. Works great with Hitmonkey. It's just great all around because it boosts Bishop, and it's just a good time, man. Yeah, it's a good time.
No, Bast is actually a card that I have sort of been keeping an eye out for because she's like one of the Series 4s that I haven't, like, I just haven't been able to grab yet. So, but I've seen, well, and it's like, it's all variations of kind of like the same deck in some ways. Like there's a lot,
I was about to get into that.
A lot of Sarah decks because it gives you the explosive turn 6. but there's also like my personal favorite right now is like the Sarah Darkhawk deck, and you throw in Hitmonkey.
Yes.
I like that one. It's like, to me, that's the most consistently performing one. We were talking, you and I were talking about like there's a negative Hitmonkey build sort of like rolling around, and like I'd love to have that fire off, but like my problem with negative man decks is just like they usually there's a few that I think work really, really well, but like Hitman makes them absolutely explosive, but they actually have to have another win condition. And I just like, I haven't been able to make the Hitman decks or the negative Mr. Negative Hitmonkey deck work for me yet. I played probably a dozen games with it, and I think I won 2, and it was like,
That's the thing with Mr. Negative decks. I like the idea of it, and it's definitely fun to play when everything lines up. You get the perfect draws. You can play Mr. Negative on turn 3 instead of 4. It's really fun to watch it just kind of explode. I won an 8-cube match last night doing that, because it was just, it was the same thing. Iron Man into Mystique into a few other cards, and it's like, well, yeah, of course you're going to win because you're just putting an insane amount of power on the board. But I never played Hitmonkey. I just never drew Hitmonkey when I played the negative deck. And so it's like, it's there. I think it's good for the people who just love playing Mr. Negative decks. I don't know who those people are. It's definitely not me. It's fun for when I just want to goof off and just kind of relax a little bit. Maybe not relax, because negative decks can be stressful. But it's just, it's fun, but it's definitely a little weird. I've definitely enjoyed more of, the bounce archetype is one that I've got more into at the end of last season, after I got bossed, and then Darkhawk, and kind of playing around with that. I was like, man, bounce is a really cool archetype that can really just tick off your opponent, catch them off guard, put 2 Widow's Bites in their hands, or if there's Camartage, you can drop 4 in there if you do it, turn after turn. Just really annoy the crap out of your opponent and make them retreat. Is it worse than playing Leech? I don't know. It's definitely more fun. But yeah,
Leech just
it's a good
sucks.
time.
We don't play Leech. We don't. He's the card that must not be named.
That's true. He's the card that must not be named.
Yeah.
He's missing a nose like Voldemort is,
dude.
So
I'm just saying it's a weird coincidence. Yeah, it's weird.
Coincidence.
It's weird.
So you're talking about the Darkhawk monkey bounce thing. I'm looking at mine right now, and you have Sarah. You said that you had Sarah in it, and I'm looking at mine now. We talked about Master Mold last episode and how it's just kind of okay, right? Do I remove Master Mold and put Sarah in there?
I mean, dude, like Sarah is like, she's just one of my go-tos. Like, especially if you're building a deck that has like a lot of like cheaper cards. So, I mean, the one that I'm actually I'm pulling mine up right now and I'm looking at it. The one I've been playing the most is it's a net deck. So judge me.
Don't say Shuri Red Skull. Don't do it.
No. It's it's like I said, it's just like, it's a Dark Sarah Hitmonkey deck. And it's got Nova, Korg, Angela, Hitmonkey, Zabu, Mysterio, Bishop, Killmonger, Darkhawk, Shang-Chi, Rockslide, and Sarah.
Okay.
So it's a Dark Sarah deck, and they slotted Hitmonkey in there, and he just like, he can kind of like, and I think what's great about him is that he does give, and I think just even in like the Sarah control decks too, as well, like these are decks that are not huge on power. Like your big players on that are usually going to be like your, it's going to be Darkhawk, and you might get Bishop up kind of high, but you're never going to just be able to take a lane with one card. And Hitmonkey at the end of the game is like, he can be that sneaky little, like, you can like, throw an extra 10 power on a lane, that I feel like he really does short, and he does the same for like the Sarah decks, the Sarah control decks, like where they're not super power heavy, just based on a lot of the cards, like, that they're playing. And he's going to give you a nice, like 6, 8, 10 point bump most of the time when you play them.
And I think that's probably what my favorite thing about Hitmonkey is. You know, in Marvel's Snap, especially as you level up and you get higher up in your collection level, you're getting more cards. You realize that as you play, your deck needs to have a couple surprise cards that'll catch your opponent off guard, you know, and get some cubes out of them, you know, because if you want to rank up, you know, or if you don't, either way, it's nice to get 8 cubes. It just feels good. And I feel like Hitmonkey is another one of those cards. You know, that's what I love about the Sarah deck is that you drop Nova down, you let it cook, and then on turn 6, the last card you play is Killmonger, and he beefs up all those cards that you just played prior to that, and Hitmonkey goes along with it, and it's an awesome surprise, man. It's really, really cool.
It's I just think it's a great deck. I mean, he's, like I said, I don't think he is not a meta breaker, but I think he's a very strong card. Like, you know, he's no Surfer, he's no Zabu, but like he's like, and especially in the 2-drop slot. And it's like, if you can get a Mr. Negative deck with him in it to work, like he's going to be a monster in that thing. Like last turn, like, hello, big numbers. Like,
absolutely. But yeah, so man, I'm real curious too. I know we talked about this in the pre-show, and sorry, I'm trying to get some stuff pulled up for this next section that we're about to go into, but something that I am really curious to see, in case you hadn't been paying attention, Kitty Pryde released, and she was out for maybe 2 to 3 days, and then she got taken offline because I guess she was breaking games, which really, when you look at the comics, that's what Kitty Pryde does. When she phases through technology, she breaks it. It's just a lore accurate card, man. So, but they took her offline. I'm real curious to see how her and Hitmonkey both work together when they get paired up. I cannot wait to see Kitty Pryde come out. But you know who else I can't wait to see drop out?
Who's that, buddy?
Jeff the freaking baby Landshark, man.
Let's go. Like next month,
I want to put those two in a deck, man. 100%. Just see how they do.
I told you I'm gonna do like a deck, and I'm just gonna call it Hitmonkey and Friends, and it's gonna be like all the Aminals, like all them Aminals and Sarah, and I'm just gonna have a good time with it. So good. Like it's
gonna be a good time, man.
Like
I can't wait.
Hijinks.
I can't wait.
Hijinks.
Just can't wait.
Dude, yeah, Jeff the Baby Landshark is just like, I'm so stoked for that card. Like I am ridiculously hyped for that card. And it's like it could just, I think it's gonna be like the most busted thing. Like he's not huge. He's a 2-drop, right? But like it's the fact that he's a 2-drop that you can put anywhere and you can move him anywhere and they can't stop it. And I'm like,
you know, when we first talked about Hitmonkey in the last episode, or not Hitmonkey, sorry, Jeff the Baby Landshark, I was like, this sounds really cool, right? I like it. You play him anywhere. And then I started seeing people ask questions in the Marvel Snap Discord of Jeff the Baby Landshark, right? Sorry, we're going to just pivot here real quick and just have a Jeff the Baby Landshark hype session.
Yeah.
We'll start the hype train. So apparently, with Jeff the Baby Landshark, it was confirmed you can play him into a Professor X lane. He can't be stopped there. You can play him in Sanctum Sanctorum. You can't stop him there. But here is what sold me on Jeff the Baby Landshark. That was like, this card may not be worth 6,000 tokens, but I'm going to get him anyway just for this.
They're going to get
if someone pops Sandman, you can play one card and Jeff.
Yeah.
So you can play 2 cards. I was like that. Dude, Dr. Doom and then Jeff at the same, that's like 4 cards right there, dude. I'm hyped. I am hyped for Jeff the Baby Landshark. Let it be known here on episode 9 of Snap Chatter. I'm hyped for Jeff.
Dude, when I saw that, they were like, nothing can stop him. So it's like, if you have the end, because like, I mean, the beauty of a Sandman deck is it's like he's gonna break it. He's gonna be like, oh no, you can't stop me. Sorry.
Yep. Yep.
I love it.
If only he couldn't be leeched. Unfortunately, he can be leeched, but he'll just do some juking and jiving and get him around that.
Well, and
that's what we do.
He's out there. It's like, you know, the nice part is that, you know, a lot of times you're going to be able to play him early enough that they're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So,
y'all be aware. Jeff the baby land shark is coming, man.
He's coming. He's coming.
I think that card drops the week after, either the week that this episode releases or the week after, man. And I am saving up tokens. I'm saving them up,
dude.
I'm gonna get them.
Okay, so I know we've kind of been talking about Hitmonkey a little bit, but can we? And I know we've already rabbit trailed a little bit and talking about Jeff the baby land shark, and we've talked about like the animal friends. Like we've got Goose and Cosmo are getting really nice variants. How about that stupid Throg bundle, dude? I am so bitter about that because I love that variant. I'm not paying 7,000 gold. Like no. Oh no. Oh no!
Yeah, man, that's a lot of gold for a frog Thor. So let's go on to our next thing. Let's look at the season pass. What's gonna be real funny is the editing for this on YouTube, because you're gonna be sitting there talking about. I'm just gonna have my cards slowly creep up.
Don't get me wrong. I've been like tempted, but man,
it got me, dude. It got me. I'm broke for the rest of the month, obviously.
like it's like Marvel Snap is like a school bully with you, man. It's just like, give me your lunch money, and you're like, okay.
I will say this though, I was looking at the other bundles that are coming out this month, and I'm like, like there's one where it's like Avengers, where it's like a variants for Captain America, Mr. Fantastic. I'm like, those are cards I don't even use. There's one for Squirrel Girl that's coming out that actually looks really good, but I'm like, I don't use Squirrel Girl, and I just don't really care for it. There's a few others, and I'm like, this is the only one I could actually.
You're like, no, I legitimately want that. My biggest point, and we can move on here, but my biggest thing is like, dude, like the price point. I'm like, no, like, come on, guys. Yeah. Like
I was honestly waiting for this to come up to have this conversation again, because I think this is going to be just a rabbit trail episode. Hey, it's on theme for the Animals Assemble thing. Yeah, dude. So I'll admit it is an expensive bundle. It's similar to what we saw with the Apocalypse bundle and some of those around that, which I feel stupid talking about it because like I got it, but I think it goes back to the root of the issue where, and I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago, that just at its core, a lot of this stuff is overpriced to begin with.
Yeah.
Now I will say I looked at that and was like, well, you're getting 3,000 tokens, you're getting over 7,000 credits, you're getting 150 boosters, you're getting an avatar, a title, a variant that's pretty hilarious. I'm like, you are getting a lot, but at the same time, I feel like the price for that could be half that. And they'd probably be a little more reasonable.
And honestly, I think they'd sell more, because I'm telling you, and this is just me. If it was half that, I'd make it work. Yeah. But it's like for 7,000 gold, I'm just like, I just can't justify it.
It's like, a lot. Yeah. No, I hear you. Again, I feel stupid talking about it because I picked it up.
No, so I mean, dude, like here's the thing. I've got to be honest. I'm jealous because I really like that Throg variant.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Here's my thing. They could have avoided this if they would have just given me the nullified Thor in my token shop when I had the tokens and I was impatient, because I would have picked that up and then I looked at this bundle and be like, no, never mind.
I have the better Thor.
Yeah. I have Frog Thor. So there it is.
There you go.
People have been looking at it on YouTube for this whole time, but yeah, no, it's definitely hefty. It's definitely hefty. It makes me wonder though, like, and we'll look at the season pass itself after this. But it makes me wonder just kind of how, I almost said like, where did they get off? But it's like, how do they price this stuff, and how do they think players can obtain this? Because gold, sure, you get it through doing your season pass stuff, completing your challenges that recycle every 6 or 8 hours or something. And then when you turn in 5 of those, you get a set amount of gold, and you do that throughout the week, and you do 25 of those, then you get a good amount of gold. But I don't know. It just makes me wonder, like, have they priced these with those people in mind, or have they priced it for just people that are just going to dump the money on it? I don't know. It definitely feels like it's for the people who are going to dump money on it, as whales.
Well, I think the issue is that until it's working, And so they've got some sort of data, they've got some sort of metric that's like, no, this works. And I like, by all means, like, I don't know how expensive or inexpensive it is to maintain this game, but you know, they're like, this price point works for us. And so as long as people are willing to pay it, like that's it. Like, so
that's true. That is true. Well, I didn't mean to derail us too much. We'll probably we'll just gloss over kind of what's in the season pass real quick, just highlight some things. Kind of like what we did last season, looking at the Days of Future Past season pass, highlighting just the variants, some of the cool things that are in there. We already mentioned them earlier a little bit with the Goose and Cosmo variants that are just, again, I know we've said this a couple times already, but they're just gorgeous. They're really good,
dude. That deck backer at 25 with the for Goose, that's
the creepy one.
That's going to be my default. Like, yes, please sign me up.
Yeah, I see. Here's the thing, right? Getting to Infinite, you get that gold card back, right? And last season, I was like, okay, the gold X-Men one looks really good, right? And I wanted it. I'm looking at the one for this season where it's the gold version of that. I'm like, I feel like the gold takes away from the image of it. Just the dark tones on that one, it just makes it pop because it makes a Goose's eyes pop. It's kind of creepy. It's kind of funny. It's just, I think really people just hitting 25. That's the card back to get because it just looks really stinking good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like,
slot that in
the gold one is fine, but you're right. I think like the dark one is like, it's better. It's much gooder.
Yeah. And of course you get the titles this time around, which I'm going to be honest, I'm not mad about the titles. I think these are hilarious. 27, not potty trained. I just think that's so random. It's hilarious. You know, just kind of going on. Of course you get your mystery variants. Probably the title I'm going to run with the most is the one at 44, food motivated. Okay. Because that's just true in real life. If you need me to like help you move or something, and then you like entice me with tacos after, it's like, all right, fine, let's do this. Let's move this couch.
Yeah. You know, I think,
of course.
Have you seen the one that's will snap for treats?
No, is that in the season pass?
I don't know if that's in the season pass, but I have seen that.
Oh my gosh.
I actually like, let me check. I might have.
That's awesome.
I actually got that will snap for treats. So I think that came from like the ranking.
Okay, I'll have to look at that then. Because I might have had it then because I started at like 60 at the start of the season, so I might be sitting there for me. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah,
oh my gosh,
will snap for treats, baby.
I like that a lot. I'm gonna check that out. A few other things I do want to point out. Of course, you get the variant for the season pass card, Hit Monkey, which is a cyborg variant. I think it's cool. I'll probably rotate that in.
I prefer the base one. If I'm being honest,
the base one is still good. Yeah. There's this variant. I use it for the thumbnail for the last episode where he's like in a suit and he's freaking out, and there's like these agents around him, like kind of freaking out. That's the one I want to get because it just looks so dang goofy.
Is that the one that hasn't been released yet?
I think it was released when the new season started because that dude on Twitter, whose name I forget, that has like all of the variants in the game, he picked it up when it came out.
That dude is disgusting, and I am so. I have to be on. Like again, I have to be honest. Moment. It's like I'm super jealous of that, but that's also like super gross, dude. Like, that's a lot of Marvel Snap. That's a lot of money at Marvel Snap.
That is. But hey, when you're a content creator, I guess you can write it all off, and it's just, you're making money.
Sure.
I do want to highlight something though, because something came out, and I'll have the tweet up on the screen. Or hopefully if I remember to do that, I'm sure I will. But Second Dinner tweeted out, some of you have noticed the season pass mystery variant moved to the paid track from the free one. So I guess in previous seasons, you would get a free mystery variant at the free section. Whereas here, if you look at the season pass, you're getting the Cosmo back card for free instead of the mystery variant. And so people were pointing that out, and they said, this is a bug and not the experience we want for Marvel Snap players. As an apology, we'll be gifting everyone a free mystery variant via the inbox. Stay tuned for more details. So y'all be on the lookout for that. They noticed a bug. And again, it's kind of hard to be mad at Second Dinner, right? We look at these pricing, we look at the matchmaking, we're like, dude, what are you doing? And then they do stuff like this. I'm like, okay, well, they're not all bad. No, they're not all head scratching. So be on the lookout for that in your inboxes that you're gonna have a free mystery variant. Hopefully you don't get a pixel variant. Oh my gosh, that would be bad.
I would dude, I actually just unlocked a pixel, like the last couple unlocks, like Arena of Grievances time, right? The last couple of caches, like they had all these like really sweet steampunk variants that were I got 3 pixel variants. 3.
Really?
I'm like, the only steampunk variant I picked up was the Yellow Jacket one. I don't even play him.
Oh, really?
I was like, I was a little bummed out. I was like, man, this sucks. Yeah. Game hates me.
That's a bummer. Because I mean, I think Yellow Jacket's steampunk variant is cool. I just think he's a bad card.
He's a like the other like ones, turn 1, like, or like drop him in an empty lane kind of thing. But yeah.
Or I guess if you pair him with Adam Warlock, that's what I used to do when I ran Galactus early on. I'd pair Yellow Jacket then Adam Warlock to get 2 points on there. And he starts drawing cards for me. But that's it. Yeah. No, I managed to get all of them. Man, that's a bummer, dude. Yeah. I've been noticing some pixel variants popping up more for me. Like I opened up a few, like the mystery variant on the rank thing. Because once you reach rank 60 and you play 10 games, or at least at the start of the season, that's how it was for me. Then you get the mystery variant, and I open it up, Pixel Nick Fury, and I'm like, don't like that. Don't like that. The game did make up for it though, because I leveled up my collection level, opened a collector reserve, Dan Hip, Nick Fury. I was like, okay, that makes up for it. Makes up way for it.
I mean, the one, it's like I'm not too mad about it because it's like one of my favorite cards. But like, I got a Darkhawk pixel variant, and I was like, this is okay.
I kind of like that one. I don't, if I'm being honest,
hate it, but it's not like, dude, like the thing is, like, even the good pixel variants, like Wolfsbane has a great pixel variant. She might be like my favorite pixel variant, but like even hers, I'm like, it's like, this is not a great, like, I just these aren't, anyways. Anyway. Just airing of grievances.
Well, let's kind of switch gears here. We're talking about cards and pixel variants, which are gross. But let's talk about our favorite cards, man. Just a little quick favorite card highlight for this episode here as we begin to wind things down. Again, listeners, let us know. Have you gotten Hitmonkey? What do you think of them? What do you think of some of the different season pass items that you can get from there? What are some of your favorite things? Obviously, it's the Goose card back. Let's be honest with ourselves. I gotta say, this is Days of Future Past was probably my favorite season as far as cosmetic items. This one might edge out over it just because Goose and Cosmo, the stuff that they've done with them are really, really good. But y'all let us know what you think. Y'all let us know what you think. Let's get into the card highlight. Nate, what's a card you want to highlight for this episode for the listeners?
I don't know. He might be series 3 at this point in time, but I kind of want to talk about him because we brought him up earlier, and I was sort of talking. He's a card that I have like a really like mixed relationship with. It's Mr. Negative, dude. I kind of love him, right? Especially like when you can get him out on turn 3 with like Psylocke or Zabu. Like, he can get like really silly. Like, he can be a lot of fun. I also kind of hate him, like, because he is so stinking conditional. Like, and
he really is.
In order to like the decks that you have to like, he kind of creates his own archetype, and it's those decks, like a lot of Mr. Negative decks, like the most common one that I've seen is like the Black Panther Zola negative deck, where like your win condition is usually Black Panther Zola. Like, or maybe like Shuri, Black Panther Zola.
Right.
But like I said, I just kind of go back to like, I want to like him so much more. And like when and Mr. Negative deck goes off, it's awesome. Like, like when you have those 3 turns and it's just like, hey, I have like a whole bunch of 0 cost or 1 cost cards in my hand. And especially like combining that with Hitmonkey, like shenanigans abound. But like that is so very rarely the case that it's like when you and I were talking about it, it's like a Mr. Negative deck is going to get you 8 cube wins. Like, cause it just like, that's kind of, but you're going to retreat so much that it's like, it's almost like you spend so much time retreating that you don't really make as much progress as you ought to. And so it's kind of like,
yeah.
But he's a cool card. I like what he does.
Yeah.
I just don't. He and I just don't hit it off that way, I guess.
You guys have a love-hate relationship, right? He's negative. You're somewhat negative, positive. I don't know. It just depends on the day, you being a grumpy lumberjack.
I mean, like, yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree, man. I have a similar, like, I really do like that card. I remember when I first started actually playing it a couple seasons ago, and I was like, man, I'm retreating a lot because I'm just not pulling this card. But then when it does, it's like, oh my gosh, we're off to the races. It's just, it gets insane.
When it goes off, it's the best. But it's, I mean, the best Mr. Negative deck that I've seen is like, it's one that you sort of sent to me a while back. It's got like Jubilee in it and stuff like that. It lets you go fishing for a lot of like the crazy combos. And it's like, so.
Yeah. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Well, the one I'm bringing to you, I'm going to be honest with you. This is the one that pretty much every single content creator has been talking about ever since Hitmonkey has dropped, because for those that are not buying the season pass, you got to wonder, how are you going to stop this Hitmonkey dropping on turn 6, bringing all of his friends? It's with a very sandy man named Sandman. That's what I'm bringing. I'm going to be honest. I use Sandman. I used the Sandman deck a lot last season to climb from the 80s to the 90s. And it's a very potent deck. I mean, it stops a lot of different decks. It's not going to stop your Shuri Red Skulls. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things that just can't really match up to it unless they goofed and skip turn 5 in the hopes to play She-Hulk and Taskmaster. Then you drop Sandman. It's like,
no, sir. Not gonna happen. I mean, he's best when you can sort of like sneak him out turn 4.
Exactly.
Because then he's like, it's a major stall for the last 2 turns, which are the most critical turns of the game.
Yeah.
But even on turn 5, like he will straight up like
jack things up,
ruin plays sometimes.
I had some really just fun moments where I just grinned from ear to ear when I didn't get Sandman out on turn 5 or on turn 4. But you know what I did get out on turn 5? Sandman. You know what my opponent got out on turn 5? Sarah. And it's like, sorry,
oh, dude,
it's not happening.
It's
not happening.
The worst. Like that is an instant, like, dude, because like Sarah, you're going for like that massive play at the end, and it's like, oh, hey, like, no, you're not. Have fun. Yeah. Like, yeah.
In the famous words of Bully Maguire from Spider-Man 3, I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. Except in this case, it's going to be sand. I don't think it ended well for Sandman in that movie, now that I think about it. But you get the idea. It messes things up. And so it's a good time. I mean, Wave is in that deck. You have Arnim Zola in there too. I saw someone, I think it was TSLG earlier, who would play Wave on turn 3 and then do Arnim Zola the next turn to Wave again, and then Odin again. Like it was bonkers. I was like, this is insane. If I ever play against that, I'm leaving immediately, because that's it.
Played that deck. And
did you really?
And I'll tell you what, sometimes like it's like I don't have a great play here. I have Odin in my hand. Well, let's Wave again. The thing that's beautiful about it is it's basically you're sandbanning your opponent.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But just starting from turn 3, that's gnarly. Well, I guess turn 4, you get the idea. That's still gnarly. It's good. But yeah, Sandman is what I want to highlight. I think he's going to be a great counter this season. I think we're going to see him a lot more this season. Again, just hats off. I know we might gripe about Second Dinner here and there, but man, hats off to them buffing that card the way that they did and just making him way more viable, because he's a monster, dude. We're going to see him a lot this season, and I'm not mad about it.
Like he's one of those cards that I don't play a lot of like I have a Sandman deck. I play it occasionally because it's a really chill deck. Like it's all about like basically like, no, you play at my tempo, and
exactly.
But yeah, it's like he's like that. Yeah, that 5 drop 5 power bump was just like awesome. And again, it's like you cheat him out with like Psylocke, you cheat him out with like Wave. Yeah, just like it's not that hard.
It's a good time.
Yeah,
it is a good time. But listeners, let us know what some of your favorite cards are. Seriously, I want to hear more from our listeners. Let's hear what some of your favorite cards are. Again, those of that have been commenting on the videos, greatly appreciate it. Whether it's feedback or just interacting with something that we said, adding in your own insights, greatly appreciate that. Y'all keep that going over on YouTube and the different social places, which brings us to the end of this episode, where you can follow us over on Twitter, twitter.com/SnapChatterPod. Of course, you can join the TRG Discord. We're all talking about Marvel Snap over there. And it's just having a good time. You know, we're gushing about variants. I was talking about the Kale Cable Ultimate variant earlier today. It's got major Terminator vibes, dude. And I love Terminator. I want that variant so bad. It's so good.
Oh, he's maybe one of these.
He's a good card.
He's a great card, dude. Yeah, but that and the freaking Nimrod variant, was it
Kim Jacinto Nimrod Ultimate variant?
Oh my gosh. I was like, dude, yo, sign me up. Yes, please.
Yeah. I wish the Ultimate variants weren't 5,000 tokens, man. It's expensive, but they're so cool looking.
They're so cool.
And I'm stupid enough to spend the tokens on one of them. So,
I'm not gonna lie, so am I.
Watch, we'll come back next episode, and I'll have that Cable variant just kind of sneaking up on screen, oh yeah, here he is, just coming through a time portal. No big deal. He's sitting there with Throg. But anyway, listeners, you can follow us on Twitter. You can join the TRG Discord and all that stuff. Just hang out with us. If this show gets big enough, we might make our own Discord and just have it be Marvel Snap related. But for the meantime, we're hanging out in TRG. As always, continue to like this podcast over on YouTube. Subscribe there, share the videos, things of that nature. I totally forgot to mention at the top of the show, last episode, we debuted our new intro-outro song done by Sound of the Rain Productions.
Fire.
And
absolute
super fire. Super hot fire.
Fire. Yes.
Just saying, any of you out there that are doing content creation or are doing a podcast and you need some music, hit him up, man. The proof's in the pudding. You already heard it at the beginning of this episode. You're here.
It rips, dude. It rips so hard, man.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm just glad I had enough footage to come up with a new intro video as quick as I could for that. I was like, oh man, I don't know if I have enough stuff, but thankfully it worked out, and it's good stuff. So definitely go check him out. I feel like I'm forgetting stuff, but if I'm whatever, that's what the show notes are there for. You can check that stuff out. Nate, man, where can the listeners find you at? If
you're interested, I do occasionally, post some spicy takes. I try not to be too salty, but I'm at Nate _McKeever pretty much everywhere. So yeah.
Yep. And I'm the Theologian pretty much everywhere, including Marvel Snap. You'll see me if I have a Cosmo avatar and Cold Blooded as the title, because again, I got that bundle, and I think it's just funny to see a Cosmo variant and you're like Cold Blooded. You're like, wait, what?
There's something wrong with that dog.
Yep. Can't wait to get the Goose variant and then do that, because that'll be perfect. But yeah, with that being said, listeners, man, it's the start of a new season. I'm so glad I'm in a good mood for this new season, and I'm excited about it because, man, I was so dejected at the end of last season. I mean, I'm ready.
You were just inches away. You're you could smell it, and that's rough, man.
Yeah, I'm just damn, man, I can't be mad. I've got Hitmonkey. I'm gonna get some sweet card backs with Goose and Cosmo. I'm good. I'm Gucci. As the kids say. Oh, I said I'm Gucci, like my students. That's gross. Sorry. But anyway, listeners, thank you for listening to this episode again. Like, subscribe, share, do all that jazz. And until next time, keep on snapping. We'll see you in the next episode.
Native Logan, ready to get rolling. Check your deck, wanna know what you're holding. I refuse to lose. Give me them cues. I'm ready to snap, tell me what you wanna do. Come on, let's go toe to toe. Marvel at my strength, I'm ready to win, yo. Give me the mic, I'm finna rap about it. Don't matter about it, chatter about it. Let's snap. I'm gonna snap.